Our relationship, it was, as I already said, it was purely faith-based.
We grew even closer more when we started serving together.
We were watching
It was the group. It was not TPF. It was this dance
groups.
Yeah.
One of the group danced well. I'm not going to mention. I remember them, but I'm not going to mention them. I said I love them, and then he texted back, I love you.
You are getting the first job. You already have a wife who's pregnant. So I'm like, I'm not serious. How can you have a baby when you don't have a job?
You get married, you're there for good, and then a child comes along, and yeah, the little space you had now goes for good.
Being with her has been amazing. If I was to choose another woman, I wouldn't choose any other lady.
When it came to parents, we didn't have any opposition. My dad said, I'm not selling my daughter. That was cool. That was okay.
We just appreciated the family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then when it comes to friends, okay, when you have a committee, I believe everybody is allowed to give their opinion. But we had a committee, the part of the committee, what they were doing mainly, they were encouraging us, and they were also gathering funds for us, but they didn't impose their ideas on us. They wanted us to do us. So there we didn't have challenges with friends, we didn't have challenges with our parents, we didn't have challenges with pastoral. And I think the main challenge would have been time and all these restrictions, having to work with very limited time, and there's restriction of movement. Getting the bridal team, my bridal team was awesome. I only dealt with one person, but all of them, they were awesome. Payments on time, they were always there when they are required to be there. They did an awesome job. Both sides, the ladies and the gents, they were all awesome. I think it was just favor. And also in our minds, I believe it was much of a mindset. We didn't think a wedding was supposed to be something that's tiresome. It's your preparation. You can't be tired of going shopping and all that. So we already knew what we wanted. That made it very easy for us to gather everything together, because we already knew what we wanted, down to the menu, to the cakes, to the designs, to the colors. So that made it very easy. And also working together and also respecting each other's strength. If I said, for example, you are going to do a white cake, he'd respect it because he knows that is probably my strength. If he says we are going to do this kind of a thing, we had respect for each other's opinion. Yeah. We were not arguing. We were agreeing very fast. Maybe because of just knowing each other for such a long time. Did you have a challenge?
But yes, we did. We faced a few and several other challenges. Apart from, of course, time. Time was a constraint, and a few opposition. I think there were guys who felt that we are not supposed to be together. Yeah. that was kinda.
But that's not family and friends.
That was not close to family and friends. It was
just people we looked up to, that we were hoping would be excited that we are doing the right thing. And that can be disappointing at times. Just the people you're looking up to, and you think, actually one of them was confident enough to say your wedding will not happen. Your wedding will not happen.
It was that bad. But I also, now during COVID, I was working for a company called Peak Performance, and then they stopped paying us immediately after we were being announced in church. Remember?
Yeah.
So I didn't mention it even, I didn't mention to my parents. One question that the dad asked when we talked about the wedding, one of the questions that his father asked was, you guys, can you survive for the next 6 months? And I was like, there, I go, yeah, sure.
Nobody knew he was jobless.
But nobody knew
except
his parents, except I came and shared with her. But the parents, my parents, we were planning a wedding. It's Feb. We don't have money because COVID came, I think, the last, I think March, at the beginning of the onset of March. By the time March was ending, I didn't have a pay slip. And I was the one who, like, the major financial implication would have come to my end. So we are here. We have already been announced church in our church in Liberty, and also at his dad's church in Coma, the Redeemed Gospel Church. And now she has a church, but we were never announced in her church. Actually, we did later get announced there, but now we've already been announced. COVID is here. No pay slip. I had planned like for the next like 6 months. The salary that I have, I'll not even get a coin out of that. That will be the amount of money that we'll use for the wedding. But now it's March, we already announced, and there's no salary that is coming through. Lockdowns everywhere. So that was scary. That was kind of challenging to me. I was like, okay, the thing I was running away from is here. And
you still don't want to do that normal wedding organizing committee. You still,
yeah. And actually, yeah, we had agreed we are not calling people together and give their funds on like we don't like harambes, even for us as a church. Right now we are doing church where she was ordained, and we are not calling an harambe. We are like, okay, if this is what God has called you to do, please give as God has blessed you. So that's kind of our mindset and our mentality, and I think that's why also we got a challenge from other guys who felt like, you know, without us you guys cannot make the wedding, because it is our finances that is going to help you. And that was kind of scary, because also now I'm like, okay, the enemies of my village have reached to me. We don't have anything, we don't have money, and I'm just there making all these other plans, and that was a bit scary. But along the way, I don't know how, but God came through, and we did the wedding. Actually, the wedding was planned for like 500, but guys, we had almost more than 900 guys coming. Even some were being locked out of the gate, because we are not even sure. We had almost more than 5 chiefs who came just to see what was happening there. Remember, it was during the COVID period and all, so it was quite something that up until now we saw the victory of the Lord coming through. But the financial challenge was tough. We didn't have a problem with people, but finances kind of came through. But even after that, I still didn't have a job even after that. Even I think 2 months into the marriage. But God was so faithful, and we were able to, we sorted everything. I think we cleared all the bills the same day.
Yeah, being the group treasurer, I had all the money in my purse. You know, you pay deposits prior to the meetings, to the everything. Then on the day you're supposed to clear after the wedding. Yeah. So I had all the envelopes in that beautiful purse bride's card.
Yeah.
And everything was very smooth.
Everything was sorted there. It was so nice.
Yeah, we didn't have a single bill after that.
Yeah. The wedding was amazing. I had my all-white apparel with an African touch. She had a wonderful gown. It was white, your dream gown. Actually, just mention something about the gown. Why did you choose that gown, and how was it acquiring it?
When it comes to the wedding, as we mentioned, so many people came through. You'd get called. Somebody would, for example, for the gown I was to hire, then somebody calls me, a minister. I'd never spoken to her before, and then she tells me, how much is your gown? I want you to have a good gown. And she tells me I'm going to pay for half of it. And she told me, don't give me an embarrassing amount. Like, I want to pay for a gown. Just don't give me an embarrassing amount. So I gave her half the amount. I topped it up to what I had for the maximum I could have spent. So I used mine to pay deposit. No, she paid for the deposit, which was half. Then I paid for the rest. I had my gown in 3 weeks. And it was a very good gown. I liked it. I didn't design it, but I couldn't find it in white. So I found a prom dress and took it to the gown vendors, and they got me the same thing in white. So it was okay. We had so many people coming through, and yeah, it was just God doing good things for us. And then the wedding comes. It was awesome. We had a good celebration. We had everything was there. People were there.
Dad, Bishop Kefoma, graced the occasion.
Yes, he was there. He preached. He gave such a confirming word.
She had the word. God had confirmed the word to you.
Yes, there was a word that was in my spirit. So he spoke about the same thing, and I think that's when the excitement for the wedding came while he was preaching, because he was preaching something that was really speaking to me. I was excited. He didn't do the conventional kind of preaching. So we finished our wedding. Then after that, I think you can
actually now before that, we had not planned for a honeymoon. Remember,
yes.
finances had issue. So I just
lockdown.
I took a loan from one of these apps just some days before the loan, so that I can pay for the house that we were moving into. That was like, I think I moved a week to, because I was living in a bed sitter, and now we were moving into a one-bedroom house. So how can I take a wife to a bed sitter? It's so bad. So so I took. You didn't know about the loan. I can see your
because I sent money to the landlord.
Yeah, but you know, there was some, my bed sitter didn't have sufurias and all this stuff. So I was just preparing. After the conversation with your dad, when he asked, how long can you guys survive? I was looking at my house and I'm like, I don't even have a plate where she can, she can eat, unless you're mentioning how we can survive. But anyway, so we took a loan at part of the deposit. And of course, you topped it up and you paid part of that amount. And then, I think that's where I was planning to take you for honeymoon.
No, it was my idea, but you people, you had a different idea that you could go for honeymoon. And I think I'd mentioned...
No, Deacon, our best couple,
it was
the one was like, no, you can't take a lady to your home. You also had, you are down for the idea. It was okay.
No, it was my idea.
So tired. Yeah.
It was my idea. I didn't want to go out for the first, because I'd never visited his house ever. So I never thought, like, it didn't feel weird going to the house. I've never been there. So I was like, why not just go there? Why waste money going out? Just go and rest. I really didn't want that. It took a lot of convincing from our best couple.
Yeah, our best couple came
for me to even go out of that place.
And he was like, no, you can't take a lady to your neighborhood dust where you've been moving around buying burger. No, no, you have to go to a real honeymoon, even if you get some amount. So I kinda actually, you paid for the house. So the loan I took is the deposit I made for the honeymoon. But eventually, I got the money back because the place is owned by one of our aunts, and she kind of fully paid for our honeymoon.
That was her gift.
That was a gift to us.
Yes, she said last minute
that
she prepared a feast for us, but we only came there with the bridal party. So she paid. She miraculously, I don't know, she just desired to bless us for our wedding. So we went there. We paid for a night. Then she extended. We went for a 2 weeks honeymoon, actually, instead of the normal, 1 week. So we were out there.
You were free to extend even for 3 weeks.
Yes, but
it was for a month.
Thank
but
you,
it
you've
was
done
nice.
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did a 2 weeks honeymoon. Someone came through for us. So yeah, it was nice. Just God, all the entire process.
Really enjoyed. We traveled a bit, and it was so nice just having to enjoy our honeymoon. This was like God confirming to us that you guys have done the right thing.
When it comes after the wedding, everything, I think we prepare for marriage and all that, but there are some things I was not psychologically prepared for. I love my space, I love privacy, and I didn't know when it comes to marriage that's an issue. So just sharing a room, I'm the only daughter, so I've grown with my own space, my own everything. So now immediately after, actually the shock began. Like the first week, it was already, it felt like my space was being invaded too much. I want to go to bed. I want to just be alone, just to recharge, and that was not an option. So the first challenge I faced was, I'd say, personality kind of clashing, because I really wanted my space back. I felt like it was an invasion into my space. So that took time, a month or so, for me to adjust. I'm not a very organized person, but in my mess, I know where everything is. So I don't want any other person messing up with my mess or creating their own mess. So it took a while for me to adjust, and also cleaning up after another person, it also feels very uncomfortable. It takes time for you to just get there. So the first and main challenge I faced was lack of privacy. I felt like I needed my privacy as soon as they took. I was already wanted my own room, my own everything, not because there was anything wrong happening, but it feels good to have your own space.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it doesn't get easier, you just get used to it, because you get married, you're there for good, and then a child comes along, and yeah, the little space you had now goes for good. So it's been a that was my main challenge. And also, no, we didn't have our honeymoon phase, because after being friends for almost 10 years, you've already argued all you can. You've already gone through the ups and downs of friendship. So you're just here. We are here. We're already here. Let's do life now. What are we going to cook? Yes, cooking. Up to date, I still find that to be one of the... I don't have an issue with cooking, but planning to cook. Like, I don't get why people really need to eat all that food. You do breakfast, you're thinking about lunch. You're finishing lunch, and it's the same cycle the whole year. I'm yet to adjust to that. It's a huge task. The challenges.
Therefore, I think for us is no, for me, I really looked forward to this moment, that now we are together. We've been planning this for quite some time. As much as, of course, we had argued, I'm still in the kind of honeymoon phase, where I'm enjoying family. So I don't get to we are more or less the same. We are introverted, extroverted. There's some aspect of us that is extroverted, but a bit, like the major part of us is introverted. We love our space. So sometimes we are actually also working towards that. Sometimes it's not that easy, but when you feel like you need to be alone, you just take some time off, blow some steam, and engage and come back. But my major challenge as a man was when I came in immediately to having a marriage. I was like, I have somebody that is dependable, so I have to provide, and that was quite challenging, because at that particular time I didn't have a job, and I was thinking of how I'm going to provide. And then our daughter is a honeymoon baby. So by the time you are getting the first job, you already have a wife who's pregnant. So I'm like, I'm not serious. How can you have a baby when you don't have a job? So I used to have those small talks with myself, and I'm like, you mean I'm the one providing for this family? And I think that is the greatest challenge a man can face, mostly when he's building a family. The thought of I can't provide for my family. What will happen to me if things... So that has been something that has been ongoing on my mind, and I honestly work hard, and that brought us to another challenge. I got a job, I extremely worked hard, and I didn't get some more time with the family. So also there's this balance that, you're not spending too much time with us. And me, I'm like, no, I have to work for you guys not to starve. We have to make wealth right now and all. So, but also that has been a big challenge. But over time, I'm gauging, and I'm coming into the rhythm, knowing when to give time to the family and also at the same time. But God came through. I later now joined Alpha, and now became the Alpha Youth Lead for Kenya. So it's also demanding, but also the balance. So my challenge actually has just been the balance of balancing work life and family life, and how best I can keep them engaged and really be part of their life. I think for the first 3 months, she was the one who was you're told when a baby is born, like the first 3 or 4 months are very important for you to be very present. And I think there's a time Nia didn't know I was the father. You can notice, because I'm there, but I'm not there, because I'm super engaged and I'm all it is. So I had to make amends and just sort for ways which you can deal with that. But I enjoy like that this has been where I wanted to be, and being with her has been amazing. If I was to choose another woman, I wouldn't choose any other lady. And each and every day we really enjoy just being together and seeing the life that God is giving us on a daily basis.
When it comes to marriage, one of the things you need to have in mind is that marriage is work. You don't just get there and things flow. When you get in there, you need to come in and be ready to work. Be ready to give yourself, just give yourself out to work. And also communication is very key because people are changing daily. We go through different experiences out there. So be sure to communicate all the time. Take your time to communicate whatever is happening. Process your thoughts. And now that you have somebody, don't just assume that they know who you are. They know what's going on in your mind or your plans. Just be very good at communicating. Both of you need to understand that you're here together, you're equal partners, so you need to contribute equally where possible. You need to support each other emotionally. Now that you're together, you need each other for everything to work out. But the main thing, the most important thing in marriage is understanding that it's work, and every day you're working on yourself, you're working on your partner, because there are so many dynamics that keep changing in marriage. Life is changing constantly, and also continue communicating. Work on your, I'd call it intimacy, and intimacy has so many aspects, but when it comes to emotions, make sure you're very intimate. Make sure you understand each other's, whatever is happening with your partner, be part of it. And I believe that makes it easier because marriages really work.
Marriages really work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So marriage works. Maybe I'd like to attribute our major success to what we are not yet there. We are doing a lot also just to be there. But we went through a premarital course in Liberty Christian Center. Reverend Dan took us an amazing course, which was also culminated by our dad, that is Bishop Kefomai. And it was aspects of marriage. That was how we can communicate better, how we can deal with in-laws, sexual relationships, how we can really handle and grow together in marriage, conflict resolution. And it's something that I would want to advise and start by saying, you know, marriage is God's idea. So when God is not in the picture, it will be a scam. But take it like you have a triangle, God in the middle, and then there's man and then there's woman who are trying to be together. The easiest way to be together is when all of you strive to be where God is and move where the point, like in the center point of the triangle, where God is the main factor. So if both of you are growing in the Lord and you are seeking the Lord and wanting your ways to be right with God, there is a way that you can be able to find yourself in marriage and be together, because God is the one that originates that. So just to inspire guys and inspire people that outside there that want to get married, are in marriage, or are planning to get out of marriage, because we have a higher rate of divorces right now, is that just make God the factor and the center of the marriage. And this is done by understanding a rhythm, having a rhythm of prayer, and bringing all your issues to God, even though they are tough. Prayer simply means communicating to God and allowing God to communicate into you. So bring all these aspects that are tough, even you know, some aspects that of sexual aspects that are challenging. Just go to God and present your case to Him, and God will come through. And that will be the thing that I would really love people to capture in marriage. The reason I say it's a scam is because they have not started with the one that came up with that particular idea. So if God is not in the picture, that means the marriage won't work, will never work, and it will be tough to work. And yeah, so I also love just to mention Ephesians chapter 5. That has been quite a secret. There are so many books outside there. But one of them is that husbands, love your wife as Christ loved the church, and wives, respect your husband and honor them. And that is also an aspect of submission in them. Submission for the wife doesn't mean that he's you know, I love my wife because apart from my wife just being Mrs. Ngome, my wife is Grace. She has her own identity. She is herself. She is a pastor. She's a fierce woman. She's strong. She's leading a wonderful congregation, an interior designer by profession, and she has her own definition. Even to some of the areas and congregations that we go, she's introduced first before me. It's not I'm not the one who's called, and I love that aspect. You know, she's not dependent on me, and I keep on encouraging her. You know, you have to go outside there, read, grow, build yourself, because you have to have your own identity. But now when it comes to marriage, she's not intimidated, and she will not be intimidated because she has her own identity when now she comes to the mission of our marriage and our wedding. So we have to understand that aspect. And also for husband, for us, our work is just to love them and help them be all that they can be as Christ loved the church. Imagine how Christ loves us. He loves us for us to fulfill the mission and the purposes of God on this earth. And that's what he died for. And for the marriages out there, that is one thing that you need to put into the factor and grow together, understanding that you are not here for the marriage, but you are here for the purposes of God. Yeah. Grace, I love you so much. You are my best friend. We used to call each other BF. Yes, you're my best friend. You're the woman that I will marry again and again. I wouldn't choose any other woman apart from you if I was to do this thing again. And you are the love of my life, and I love you so much for your gentleness and kindness, for your grace and patience, for your love. My purple princess, you are the best woman that God gave unto me, and I seek to fulfill and inspire the world with you, even as you become what God has called you to be. So I'm fully behind you as you chase your dreams and do all the best that you desire on this earth. God bless you. I love you.
Thank you. Gibson, I love you. I appreciate you for being in my life. I thank you for being my husband and the father to our wonderful baby Nia. I celebrate you for who you are, for the great things you're doing, especially in ministry, and for always finding, despite the challenge of time and all that, for always finding time to be with us, for listening to us, for taking care of us, and also for being supportive of whatever we pursue to do, whatever we set out to do, our goals, and being very proactive in everything that you're doing. Thank you for being the person you are, and for being the leader that we deserve and the leader we desire in our house, and for leading us in the things of God. You've maintained our stand in salvation. We've not backslidden, we've not gone back, and we are